Hey everybody, it's Caitlin Rose with another Sheen TV exclusive interview, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Bree Hall. Bree is an amazing and super talented content creator and YouTuber with over 1.1 million followers across all of her platforms. Not only that, but she is a singer, a motivational speaker, an activist, and a host to her newest podcast, Count to 10. Bree uses her creative passions to build community as well as increase awareness of crucial issues such as social justice, mental health, and self love. Bree, thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing intro. I was sitting here like, yes, who is she? Who is this Brie girl?
Uh, it's
Thank you,
you.
thank you.
It's you.
Yes, I feel like people who have like that imposter syndrome can feel me on that where like when you hear stuff back, it's like I did that, and things
Yes.
like that.
Yes, exactly. I feel that. I feel it. I am really excited to talk with you today. We're going to jump right in. I want to hear about the things you got going on right now and a little bit about your story as well. So my first question for you is most people probably know you for like your cosplay looks, your viral videos, your YouTube content, but you do a lot more than that. So can you kind of tell us how would you describe the work that you do?
Ooh, okay. I love this question because I feel as though someone who might like be on the outside just looking in might say, okay, she does so many things. Where is the link between all of these things? And I feel like the link between everything I do comes with taking something ordinary in daily life and turning it into something extraordinary. So, with, for example, art, I started drawing at the age of 2 and went to performing arts middle school, and then eventually got my degree in animation, interactive media, and film. So, that was like a really, and still is a really big part of everything I do. But I also, write poetry where you're taking a blank page and you're turning it into something that makes people feel things. And motivational speaking, you're taking a stage and a microphone and then you're changing people's lives by just the words that you're speaking. So I feel like a lot of the things I do, even with music, having just blank empty space and then filling it with these melodies and these vibrations that all kind of come together with synchronicity, is just like that's the common denominator of everything I love to do, is just adding a sprinkle of myself to everything and then turning it into something really cool. I feel like that's, yeah.
Right, right. That's awesome. So you have like a really extensive portfolio of like just creative arts, writing, painting, poetry. That's really cool. I love
Yes.
that.
Renaissance woman, I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get into all that, but let's first talk about the cosplay since a lot of people know you from that. So can you talk about like what cosplay is? Is it short for costume play? Is that
Yeah, so cosplay is essentially dressing up as a character from, any type of multimedia. A lot of cosplay does focus on anime, but it can range from, cartoon movies and just the whole broad spectrum. It could be just about anything.
Gotcha. Okay, so how did you get involved with cosplay? Like, when did you say like, "Oh, I want to do this"? Like, what made you get into it?
So as you can see from the common denominator of all my interests, I'm obsessed with the art of transformation. How people can be so fluid, and how for example, one moment in your life can transform your entire life. I'm obsessed with that concept. So with cosplay, ironically, one thing I joke about with my friends in the cosplay community is that I've been cosplaying since I was 15 or 16, but I just didn't know there was a community or a name for what I was doing. I remember I would dress up as these characters or just like be in my room before I even had YouTube, like, ooh, I like this person's makeup. Let me try to do it this way, or dress up like these eccentric characters from different shows, and or just take inspiration, right? And I was like, dang, I really wish beyond Halloween I could continue doing this, because I also was like a professional face painter, and I used to go to like schools and events and stuff like that, and paint a lot of kids as Spider-Man
Oh, that's
and
so
stuff like
cute.
that. So it's just fun. It's so fun for me to be able to kind of encompass everything I do into one. transforming my hair, I'm doing makeup, face painting. A lot of the times in post production, I do animation or FX editing that uses like what I went to school for and things like that. So I think that's the fun part of cosplay. It's like whenever we watch movies, right? And you see like maybe a Marvel movie, a DC movie, you think, oh man, like you kind of imagine like what would it be like to be Spider-Man? I
Right,
mean, I
right.
just love Spider-Man. So I thought that like the whole movie, like, dang, I wonder what it'd be like to just like fly through the city. But it's cool because with cosplay, I actually can be Spider-Man if I want to, and
Right.
edit it and make it look cool. So I don't know. It's like being a superhero for a day. And I think, or a villain. And I think
Right.
that's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, totally. And so you created Venom. Venom is actually one of my favorite Marvel characters. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did she like have half her face beat, half Venom? It was
Yes.
like I was obsessed with it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that look.
Yeah.
I what I started doing on Instagram, because I feel like sometimes people will see these looks and be like, "Oh, that's cool," but they don't realize
Right.
how much time they take sometimes. So I started doing like polling on Instagram for people and saying, "Hey, how long do you think this look took me?" And everybody would always underestimate it a little. I'm like, no, like Venom, I believe
Oh,
was 10.5 hours of
oh my
makeup.
gosh.
hmm I
Wow.
take breaks, but I was joking with one of my other like internet friends who does face painting, and I was like, "There's a moment in the process where you can't eat like solid food anymore." So I make like shakes and stuff for when it gets to that point, because once you start gluing prosthetics on and stuff like that, you don't want to be too like chomping down and having things
Right.
crack and stuff. So it's its own whole process, but I love it. It's
Oh
also
my
really good for like
goodness.
anxiety too. I feel just being able to focus in on like small details the same way I do when I'm drawing. It feels really relaxing in its own way.
Right, right. So is it in a way like self-care for you, would you say?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like this past year, I know was really challenging for so many people, myself included. And I remember that actually when I sat down to do, I want to say it was either Venom or no, it was when I did the Leaf from Game of Thrones cosplay.
Okay.
I was actually grieving at the time, and I was like, you know what? I want to be able to sit with how I'm feeling, but I want to challenge it, not channel it into art. So yeah, I was able to channel it into my own creativity, and then it allows you to just sit down, similar to meditation, where your mind can just wander. Sometimes I
Right.
watch things, sometimes I listen to music, sometimes I do it in complete silence and just zone out. And I think that's really healthy in a world where everything is so fast paced.
Yep, totally. It is. Yep. Totally,
Thank
totally.
you.
So do you have like a favorite look that you created?
Ooh, that is hard. Okay, so um I feel like it's a close tie between Venom and Leaf. Ooh, but I
Okay.
also really like the Mad Hatter too. That was a fun one. But
That one
I'd
was a good
say
one. Yeah.
thank you. But I think I'm actually gonna say Leaf. And the reason why is because I was like, nobody's gonna want this character because it's not one of the more popular characters from the Game of Thrones series, and I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, so I was like, oh, but I thought like these are some of the most essential characters to the show, and
Right.
they get not a lot of love like in the media sense. So I was like, dang, I really want to do this, but I think I'm most proud of it because it was the most intimidating character I've done, where I was
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
how like her whole face was, different shapes and things. So I was like, just starting her, I feel proud of starting that process because I didn't know how it was gonna go going in. I have like a mannequin, like a little FX mannequin. So sometimes if I'm
Oh,
nervous,
cool.
I'll
Yeah.
mix products on the mannequin and like do a rough draft of the look because
Right.
there's nothing worse than like putting something on top of something else and then it starts separating and you're like, I was almost finished. So,
Right.
and I do that too. I highly suggest that for anybody that does makeup. I highly suggest if you have a primer you want to try with a foundation, get you an FX mannequin head that has like kind of like texture to it so you can see if products work together before you do
Right.
them without
That's
having
a
to
good
wash your whole
idea.
face.
That's a
Thank
great
you.
idea.
Yes,
Even for
I'm
people
really
that just
excited.
don't even do all the extravagant looks, you know?
Exactly. Because I know I've had a couple times where I'm trying a new product pairing and then they just like, you know,